Hello people, it's wonderful to be seen by you and to be back with you today. Just want to say it's really good to be back in South Africa, and thanks for all your support over this time over there in the States, and we're just grateful for our partnership with you people. But we're into the book of Judges. We're into chapter 13 right now, and we're looking at the incredible colorful figure of Samson. Although his demise was miserable and was kind of predictable, I guess, his story is remarkable, and I find some amazing lessons that maybe we can learn from this. The first lesson we need to learn, and it comes by way of a test to us, is the test of hopelessness. For 40 years, the Israelites have been taken into captivity by the Philistines, and now they were really in trouble once again. But the beautiful thing is, when we're at our worst, God is at his best, and God is never short of a really creative plan. And so he came up with a plan, and he went to Manoah's wife, and he said to Manoah, "You are barren, you've never had a child before, you're considered to be sterile, but I have a way of bringing life out of nothing, and I'm going to get you to have a child, and you will call him Samson, and you will never let him have any wine or let him cut his hair. He would be to me dedicated to be a Nazirite." And so Samson was born, and everybody was really excited. She followed through with everything that God had said to her. But Samson, as he grew, began to have a mind of his own, and he thought he would come up maybe with his own plan as to do what he needed to do to maybe be what God wanted him to be. Our plans are never good enough. God's plan is always the best. But when God comes up with a plan, I often wonder, and I say, God, why is it that you just don't do it yourself? Every time you give a man a job, there's a huge chance, an enormous possibility. The percentages are totally against man ever fulfilling everything that you've told him to do. If you are God and you can talk creation into being by just a word of your mouth, why don't you just do it yourself and avoid the hassles and the haggles and the pain associated with having a man in your plan? But the strange thing is, as though God is able to do those things. We all know that. There is nothing that God cannot do. But for some strange reason known only to himself, he generally, nearly always, chooses a man or a woman, a human being, to fulfill the purpose that he has. And so he chose this man, Samson. And Samson did predictably what normally happens with human beings who get proud, who get arrogant, who feel that they're strong enough to do it on their own. There's always a demise. And so God has a plan. But the amazing thing is, he chooses frail, fallible human beings to fulfill his plan. Now it's interesting that each one of us is human. As long as we have breath in us, we have life. And there is something that God has for us to do as well. We just read about these amazing kind of superhero kind of people like Samson, and we think, man, I could never be like that. God could only use someone like that he has specifically ordained. But might I remind you that Psalm 139 says that you were formed. God put you together, and he made you for a purpose, and he made you to fulfill his plan. And God is saying, maybe this person will fulfill my plan. I have a plan for that woman. I have a plan for that man. I have a plan for that teenager, for that boy or girl. I'm just hoping that this kid or this man or woman is going to fulfill my plan, because God has made a choice. He could always do it on his own, but he always chooses a human being to fulfill his purpose. As confusing as that may be, if I were God, I'd just bypass human beings anyway. We're a mess, and we never get it right, or very seldom do we ever get it right. But God has chosen in his plan and his purpose to use human beings. Well, might I suggest to you today, if you're a human being, God has probably got a plan for you to do something for himself as well. And so I hope you find that. Be a part of God's plan. Ask him what that purpose is that you have for him, and then do the best you can to fulfill the vows that you have committed. Like the Nazirites did, they were dedicated solely to God. There were certain things they were not allowed to touch or to do. Maybe we could take a lesson from their books. There's certain things we don't want to touch, people. There's certain things we don't want to do, as we are totally dedicated to the purpose of God, because God always uses a human being. Hope you found your purpose today. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.